It's time for math practice with Miss Flaherty. Here's what you'll need: a blank piece of paper and a pencil and an eraser. Feel free to pause and rewind the video as much as you'd like to work at your own speed. Hi, first grade mathematicians. I'm really excited for math practice today, but before we get started, I have a shout out for a very special first grade scholar. This friend is a Georgetown friend, and I have a shout out for this scholar because she's been going above and beyond to make sure that she's doing her work and showing all her strategies every time she's watching my math practice videos. And this scholar is Kayla. Say, way to go, Kayla. Check out her awesome work. If you look closely, she has her number sentence set up that matches my story problem, and she was watching it right there on her iPad. Awesome job, Kayla. I'm really excited to see everyone's awesome work. So make sure you snap a picture of your great strategies and send those along to your teacher. Can't wait to see them. All right, friends. So today in math, we are going to be working on some story problems. Just like always, I know we've got a lot of story problem experts in first grade. Let's remind our brains, what are some of the things that great first grade mathematicians do every time they see a new story problem? Awesome. We should always visualize and make a movie in our brain of what's happening. What else should we do? Yeah, we need to think about what we know from the story and what we're trying to figure out or we're trying to find out. And last but not least, we always show a model and write a number sentence that matches our story. Are you ready to get started? Great. So our first story problem, I'm going to go ahead and read it. You don't need to write the whole thing down on your paper. We'll take some time to go back and label the important information. As I'm reading the story, I want you to make sure that you're visualizing and making a movie in your brain. Stavina loves LOL dolls. She gave away 13 dolls to her friend, Brittany. Now, Stavina has 5 left. How many dolls did Stavina have to start with? Were you able to see Stavina and her LOL dolls in your brain movie? Yeah, me too. Sounds like Stavina's really nice. She was giving away some dolls to her friend Brittany. All right, friends, before we get started, let's think about what do we already know in this story problem? Good. We already know that she gave away 13 dolls. So does that represent the total number of dolls Stavina had, or does that represent a part of the dolls? Good job. That represents the part that she gave away. So I'm going to label P for part. What else do we already know in this story? Good. We know that Stavina has 5 dolls left over. So is that the total number of dolls, or is that another part? Nice work, Georgetown. Nice work, first grade friends. That is another part. So I'm going to label P for part. So on your paper, you could write 13 dolls, and then you could label that P for part. And then you could write 5 dolls left and label that P for part. All right, team, what are we trying to figure out in this story? In Georgetown, I always ask, what did the cue for question ask us to figure out? Good, it asked us how many dolls did she have to start with. So is that going to be the total number of dolls, or will that be a part of the dolls? Nice work. That's going to be the total that she started with before she decided to give some away. So using those amazing first grade labels that we've worked together on, I want you to set up a bar model that represents this story. Make sure you're thinking about what the total is, what the parts are, and if we don't know something yet, we can always label it with a question mark. Go ahead and take a second to get that down on your paper. All right, you can always pause the video if you're not done with your bar model yet. Let's see if your bar model looks like Miss Flaherty's bar model. So in my bar model, I have the part, oops, let's make that go away. In my bar model, I have the part where she gave away the 13 dolls, and I have the part that's left over, the 5 dolls. And then I labeled that we don't know the total number of dolls that Stavina had to begin with. Go ahead and check that your bar model looks like Miss Flaherty's. And that's tricky. Give yourself a big smiley face over that bar model if you rocked it. All right, scholars, now using our awesome bar model, we need to start to think about a number sentence that can match the story that will help us solve. In this story, do you think addition or subtraction matches best? In addition, we put our parts together to make the total. And in subtraction, we start with a big total and we take some away. So which matches our story better? I was thinking the same thing. In this story, it's showing subtraction. Savina has some LOL dolls, and then she gives 13 away, and she's left with 5. So go ahead and write a subtraction number sentence that can help us understand this story. Let's see if your number sentence looks like mine. Something take away 13 equals 5. Stavina started with some number of dolls, the total. She gave away 13, and now she has 5 left. Nice work, team. All right, so how could we solve this number sentence? If we're missing the total, how could we figure it out? What can we do with our parts to figure out the total? Ooh, I heard some first grade friends saying that we could put our parts together to make the total. I'm going to go ahead and get my pen out. I want to add my part 13 together with my part 5 to figure out what's this total that we started with. All right, which part should I catch in my brain? You're right, let's catch 13 because it's bigger. 13, and how many will we count up? Awesome, we're going to count on 5. Let's do it together. You ready? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. What was the total? 18. So how many dolls did Stavina have to start with? Stavina had 18 dolls to start with. Awesome work. Are you ready for our next challenge? As I read the story problem, remember, make a brain movie so that you can understand what's happening. Chloe loves M&Ms. She gave 8 M&Ms to her friend Adam. That's nice of her. Now, Chloe has 14 M&Ms left. How many M&Ms did Chloe have to start? Let's think about what we already know in this story. Good. We know that she gave 8 M&Ms away. So does that represent the total number of M&Ms she had, or does that represent a part? Nice work, friends. That represents the part that she gave away. Go ahead and label 8 M&Ms, P for part, on your paper. All right, what else do we already know? Good. We know that she has 14 M&Ms left. So is that the total or is that a part? Yeah, it's what she has left over. That's just a part. So label P for part. Now, what are we trying to figure out in this story? We want to know how many she had to start with. So what are we looking for? A part or a total? You're right, team. We're looking for the total number of M&Ms she had to begin with. All right, that's a lot of information. I want you to set up your bar model that matches our story. Go. All right, let's see if your bar model looks like Miss Flaherty's. I have the part 8 that she gave away to Adam and the part 14 that's left over. But I don't know the total number of M&Ms she started with. Give yourself a big smiley face if you rock that bar model. All right, now we need to use our bar model and all of our awesome thinking to help us come up with a number sentence that matches the story. So do you think we're adding or do you think we're subtracting? Good job, team. We're subtracting because Chloe started with some M&Ms, she gave away 8, and now she has 14 left. So we were taking away or subtracting. Write down a subtraction number sentence that matches the story. All right, let's see if your number sentence matches mine. Something take away 8 is equal to 14. This means that Chloe started with some M&Ms. She gave away 8 to Adam, and now she has 14 left. Nice job. How can we figure out this missing total? Well, I know that she started with some M&Ms, she gave away 8, and now she has 14. What can I do with my parts to figure out the total? That's right. We can put our parts together to make the total. Mathematicians can always flip a number sentence into addition to help them solve. All right, which part should we catch in our brain, 8 or 14? Yeah, let's catch 14 since it's bigger. 14. Are you ready to count up 8? Let's go. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. What's the total? 22. Say we rocked it. So how many M&Ms did Chloe have to start? That's right. She started with 22 M&Ms. Keep up the great work, first grade.